Midnight Lagos rain. A woman clutches twin babies in a shredded blue blanket, begging under neon lights. A Bentley splashes filth on her. Never slows. She doesn't curse. Just stares. 6 months earlier, same woman, Amara, trusted housemaid in a billionaire's mansion, smiling, safe, loved. Flash forward. That Bentley owner will kneel before her, crying, destroyed by what she discovers. Have you ever been discarded by someone who later realized they destroyed their own flesh? This is one of those African stories, real-life stories rooted in African folklore. These touching stories remind us that some life stories are written in blood and regret. Injustice always finds its witness. The woman in that car will discover a truth that ends her world. 6 months earlier, Okafor Estate, Victoria Island, Amara, folded Mrs. Chioma Okafor's silk scarves. Each crease perfect. 3 years of service had taught her that perfection wasn't optional in this house. The estate sprawled across 2 acres of Victoria Island. 12 bedrooms. An Italian marble fountain. 18 staff members, all wearing gold anklets engraved with their hire dates. Chief Okafor had started the tradition before his death. Loyalty sealed in gold, he'd said. Amara's read, June 15, 2022. She touched it when Mrs. Chioma praised her. It felt like proof she belonged. Amara, come. Chioma's voice drifted from the library. At 58, Chioma Okafor commanded rooms without raising her voice. Billionaire textile magnate, widow for 5 years, publicly childless. A fact that haunted her in a culture that measured women by motherhood. Amara entered. Chioma sat reviewing fabric samples, reading glasses perched on her nose. Madam, sit. Chioma gestured to the velvet chair. Your university application? Amara's pulse quickened. Business administration at University of Lagos. Chioma had promised help. I spoke to the dean. Chioma's lips curved. Full scholarship. Next semester. They'll cover living expenses. Tears blurred Amara's vision. Madam, I don't... How can I... You remind me of myself at 22. Chioma's voice softened. Orphaned. Fighting for scraps. You're like the daughter I never had. The daughter I never had. Amara replayed those words every night in her room above the garage. 2 weeks later, Amara's bathroom. 2 pink lines. Amara sat on the tile floor, pregnancy test trembling in her hand. 8 weeks. Twins, somehow she knew. A mother's instinct. David would have been overjoyed. Her fiancé, taxi driver with big dreams, had proposed 3 months ago with a modest silver ring. But David's taxi had crumpled under a trailer on 3rd Mainland Bridge 4 days ago. Dead before the ambulance arrived, Amara pressed her palm to her flat belly, orphaned again. No parents. No David. Just 2 heartbeats beneath her ribs and a job that might vanish. She told Chioma the next morning in the kitchen. Pregnant? Chioma's coffee cup paused mid-air. By that taxi driver? David, madam, my fiancé. We were. The word cut. And now? He died last week. Car accident. Chioma's jaw tightened. She turned to the window overlooking the pool. How far along? 8 weeks. Silence stretched like wire. Then, keep working until you show. We'll discuss arrangements. Relief flooded Amara's chest. Arrangements meant help. Chioma had called her daughter. She didn't see Chioma's reflection in the window. Eyes closed, fist pressed to her stomach. 30 years of trying, treatments that failed. A husband who died never knowing fatherhood. And this girl, this orphan, carried life so easily. 3 days later, 4:47 p.m. Mrs. Ngozi heard the scream from the courtyard. She found Chioma in her bedroom, safe door open, hands shaking. It's gone. Chioma's voice cracked. The brooch. Chief's brooch. Someone took it. The diamond brooch. Chief Okafor's final anniversary gift. 2 months before his heart attack. Market value 50 million naira. Sentimental value incalculable. Kept in a biometric safe. Thumbprint and 6-digit code. Only Chioma had access. Call everyone, Chioma ordered. Every single person. Now, 4:55 p.m., the courtyard, 18 staff assembled under the fading sun. Gardeners still holding shears. Cooks smelling of onions. Drivers in uniform. Amara stood in the back, confused, her hand unconsciously protecting her belly. Chioma emerged from the main house, tablet in hand. Someone violated my trust yesterday. Her voice echoed off the compound walls. Someone I fed, sheltered, Loved. She pressed play on the tablet. Security footage filled the screen. Timestamp 2:15 p.m. previous day. Chioma's bedroom door opening. Amara entering with a laundry basket. The video showed her changing sheets, dusting the dresser, organizing the closet. 12 minutes. Then she left. Amara's stomach dropped. "Madam, you asked me to clean. Did I ask you to open my safe? I didn't touch it." Mrs. Ngozi stepped forward, face grave. "Madam, I supervised cleaning schedules." Amara was alone in that room. No one else entered. What Ngozi didn't say. She'd watched Chioma's lawyer revise the will last month. Seen the clause. 5 million Naira Education Trust. For Amara Okonkwo. Ngozi had 4 children. School fees crushing her. 15 years of service, no inheritance. The brooch in her apron pocket felt like justice. "Everyone," Chioma commanded. "Open your lockers now." They filed to the service hallway. One by one, staff unlocked their metal compartments. Chioma inspected each with security guards flanking her. Uniforms, toiletries, family photos. Nothing suspicious. Until Amara's locker. Chioma pulled out folded uniforms. A worn Bible. Pictures of David smiling in his taxi. Then something. Wrapped in old newspaper. She unwrapped it. Slowly cash. Crisp 1,000 Naira notes. Stacked, counted. 300,000 Naira. The courtyard air turned electric, where Chioma's voice barely controlled. Did a housemaid get 300,000 Naira? Amara's voice shook. "I saved it. David and I. For the hospital. For the babies. Every week we... Babies?" Chioma's laugh was sharp glass. "You expect me to believe a taxi driver and a maid saved this much? We didn't spend. Enough." Chioma threw the cash. Bills scattered like leaves. "You stole from me. Then you lied." "Madam, please." Amara reached out. The slap echoed. Amara's head snapped sideways. Gasps rippled through the watching staff. A gardener flinched. A young cook covered her mouth. Amara's cheek burned, eyes filling. "You smiled in my face every morning," Chioma hissed, stepping closer. "I called you daughter. Gave you a future. And you repaid me by stealing my husband's final gift." "I didn't. I swear on my life. Your life is worth nothing right now." Chioma bent down, grabbed Amara's ankle. Yanked the gold anklet. The clasp snapped. Blood beaded where metal cut skin. "You are not family." Chioma held the broken anklet high for all to see. "You never were." Amara collapsed to her knees, pregnant belly pressing against her thighs. "Madam, I have nowhere to go, no family. David is dead, please." "You think pregnancy earns sympathy?" Chioma's voice cracked with something beyond anger. Envy, bitterness, ancient grief. She leaned down, voice low enough only Amara could hear. "My husband and I tried for 30 years. Treatments that left me bleeding. Prayers that went unanswered. We died childless. And you stand here unwed, flaunting your blessing while stealing his memory." Chioma straightened, addressing the crowd. "She has 10 minutes to leave. If she's here when I return, I call the police." A driver whispered to the cook, "Should we touch her and you're fired too?" Ngozi said coldly. Amara stumbled toward her room, staff parting like she carried plague. Her hands shook so hard she could barely fold her clothes. 1 plastic bag, Bible, photos, 3 uniforms. David's ring on a chain. A security guard leaned in the doorway, arms crossed, watching the clock. 5:17 p.m. The gate. Amara walked toward the front gate, plastic bag clutched to her chest. Her ankle bled, leaving small red dots on the driveway. "Wait." Chioma stood at the main entrance, silhouetted against the chandelier light. Hope flared in Amara's chest. An apology, mercy, something. Chioma threw an object. It landed in the dirt at Amara's feet. The blue blanket. Chioma's birthday gift 2 months ago. Soft Egyptian cotton, embroidered edges. "Take it," Chioma said. "Consider us even." Amara picked it up slowly. Mud stained one corner. The gate buzzed open. She stepped through. It slammed shut with mechanical finality. Amara stood on Ahmadu Bello Way, evening traffic roaring past. Homeless, pregnant with twins. Accused of theft, blacklisted. The blue blanket smelled like the fabric softener from the estate laundry room, like the life she'd just lost. Rain began to fall out inside the estate. 5:20 p.m. Mrs. Ngozi watched from the kitchen window. Amara's figure disappeared into the Lagos twilight. The brooch in her pocket felt lighter now. Kioma sat in her bedroom staring at the open safe. Something nagged at her. The video showed Amara near the dresser, not the safe. The girl had been so careful, so honest for 3 years. Her eyes fell on the nightstand, a framed photo from last Christmas. Kioma and Amara decorating the tree, both laughing. Doubt whispered. She silenced it. The money was proof enough. Pregnant girls lied to survive. She'd made the right choice. Tough love. Boundaries. Outside, thunder rolled. Kioma didn't know she'd just destroyed her own daughter, and the truth would stay buried. Until it couldn't. 2 weeks later. Ajagunle slum. The zinc roof shack cost 15,000 naira monthly. Amara had 8,000 remaining after the landlord seized her deposit. 3 meters by 4. No window. Foam mattress on cracked concrete. Shared pit toilet down the alley. 20 naira per use. She spread the blue blanket over the mattress. It still carried the scent of Kioma's imported fabric softener. The life she'd lost. Her Nokia phone held 17 missed calls from former co-workers. She deleted them. Kioma's blacklist moved faster than news. No household would touch her. Month 3. Traffic Ikorodu Road, pure water. Pure water, cold. Amara weaved between cars at 11 a.m. The sun cooked asphalt to 38 degrees. Her second-hand slippers melted slightly with each step. 20 naira per sachet on good days. 10 when drivers negotiated. She sold 60 sachets between 7 a.m. and 2 p.m. Profit, 800 naira expenses. Gari and groundnut, 200. Room rent divided by 30 days, 500. Toilet fees, 60. Sachet water for drinking, 40. Saved, 0. At 13 weeks pregnant, nausea hit during rush hour. She vomited between 2 Danfo buses. Passengers laughed. At 15 weeks, she fainted on Echo Bridge. A bus driver, Uncle Tunde, mid-60s, missing 3 teeth, pulled her to the shoulder. "Girl, you're pregnant. You can't be out here." "I have nowhere else." He gave her 2,000 naira. "My daughter's age." "Go to a clinic." She bought beans and plantain instead. First full meal in 18 days. Month 4. Huyeligba Market. Mama Ngozi hired her to sell oranges. 800 naira daily. Work started 5 a.m. Ended 6 p.m. Amara did the math obsessively. Government hospital delivery for twins. 150,000 naira minimum. Private clinic, 500,000. Emergency C-section, 300,000 extra. After 2 months selling oranges and pure water, she'd saved 34,000 naira. The numbers never closed the gap. One afternoon, an older woman in purple Ankara bought 6 oranges for 1,000 naira. "Keep the change." She studied Amara's swelling belly. "Twins, yes?" Amara startled. "How?" "Your face." The glow doubles. "Are you eating protein?" Amara's throat locked. She shook her head. The woman bought 20 more oranges. Left 5,000 naira. Vanished into the crowd before Amara could speak. That night, Amara bought fish stew with rice. First meat in 23 days. She cried while chewing, sitting on her mattress in the dark. Uncle Tunde found her 2 weeks later, sleeping in his parked bus overnight. He didn't report her. "Let her stay when temperatures dropped. My daughter died in childbirth," he said quietly. "No husband, no help. I failed her." He brought Amara bread most mornings. Never spoke about it on month 6. The rain encounter. 11:43 p.m. The charity board meeting ran past midnight. Chioma's Patek Philippe showed 11:43 p.m. Her driver, Emeka, navigated flooded Victoria Island streets. Rain attacked the Bentley's roof like fists. Thunder cracked over Bar Beach. Traffic halted at Zenith Mall intersection. Red light. Chioma reviewed her tablet. Quarterly reports. Foundation budgets. Movement flickered in her peripheral vision. A figure huddled against the mall's steel shutters. Young woman, pregnant, shielding her belly with skeletal arms. Something in the silhouette. Protective, desperate, pulled Kioma's focus. The woman's face turned toward the streetlight. Kioma's tablet slipped from her hands. Amara. 6 months pregnant. Belly pronounced despite her thinness. Soaked, shivering, the blue blanket. Torn filthy, wrapped around her shoulders. Time suspended. Kioma's chest constricted. Her breath came shallow. She gripped the armrest. She's alive. She's pregnant. She's here. "Madam?" Emeka watched her in the mirror. "You look pale." "Should I?" "Drive." The word scraped out. Light still red. Now! Emeka floored it. The Bentley surged through the intersection. Its wheels hit a pothole, sending a tsunami of filthy water toward the sidewalk. It drenched Amara completely. Kioma twisted in her seat, looking back. Amara didn't scream, didn't curse. She wiped her face slowly, adjusted the torn blanket, sat back against the shutters. Their eyes locked across 30 meters of rain and neon. Recognition flashed in Amara's face. Then something colder. Acceptance. Kioma faced forward, pulse hammering her temples. Her hand reached for the intercom button. Turn around. Bring her in. Fix this. Her finger hovered, but her voice said, Home, Emeka. He drove. Kioma closed her eyes. The image burned. Amara's protruding belly, hollow cheeks, wet blanket. The gift Kioma had thrown at her feet, now keeping her alive on the streets. She stole from you, pride whispered. The money, the footage. You had proof, but doubt answered. Did you? Or did you need to believe it? Estate. 12:15 a.m. Kioma stood in her walk-in closet. Rain drummed the skylight. She pulled down the locked metal box from the top shelf. Her hands shook, inserting the key. Inside, one hospital bracelet. Mrs. Kioma Okafor, June 12, 2003. Lagoon Private Clinic. One tiny knit cap, pink. Never worn, one intake form. Baby girl Okafor. 3:17 a.m. O-negative blood type. The secret birth. The daughter Chief Okafor's family rejected. A girl? Disgraceful? Tell everyone she's stillborn. The midwife had sworn the baby died during delivery. Kioma had paid 500,000 naira to handle the burial privately. She'd never held her daughter. Too afraid. Too ashamed. 30 years of infertility treatments before that. 30 years after. The one pregnancy was supposed to be God's answer. Instead, she'd buried it like evidence. Now seeing Amara, cast out, pregnant, suffering. Something inside Kioma fractured. But fortresses don't fall quickly. She locked the box, returned it to the shelf, took 3 sleeping pills instead of 2, dreamed of crying she couldn't place. Month 7. General Hospital emergency. 2:47 a.m. Uncle Tunde's phone call woke Dr. Funmi Adebayo. Doctor, there's a girl outside ER, bleeding. Pregnant, unconscious. Funmi arrived in jogging clothes, stethoscope around her neck. Found Amara on a gurney. Security guard doing compressions. Blood soaked the blue blanket beneath her. How long has she been out? Found her 10 minutes ago, the guard panted. No pulse initially. Got it back. Funmi checked pupils, checked cervix, felt the abdomen. Christ. Placental abruption. She's 29 weeks, twins. She grabbed the gurney rail. Or 3 now. Page anesthesia. The night nurse caught her arm. Doctor, no ID, no deposit. Policy requires bill my personal account. Move 203. 3:14 a.m. emergency C-section. Funmi scrubbed in 90 seconds. The first twin emerged silent. 1.18 kilograms. Funmi suctioned airways. Rubbed the tiny chest. 5 seconds, 10 dot, a weak cry, NICU stat. The second twin came breech. 1.31 kilograms. Stronger cry, both alive. Go. Then the bleeding started. Amara's uterus wouldn't contract. Blood pressure dropping, Funmi's hands moved automatically. Sutures, clamps, transfusion. 2 liters of O-negative from the blood bank. At 4:52 a.m., Amara stabilized. Funmi sutured the incision. Hands steady despite the emotional earthquake inside her chest. This girl was 22, maybe 23, malnourished, no prenatal care. Where was her family? Recovery room. 10:30 a.m. Amara woke to white ceiling tiles and iodine smell. Her abdomen burned. Easy. A woman's voice, calm. General Hospital. I'm Dr. Funmi Adebayo. You had an emergency C-section. Amara's hands shot to her belly. Empty, flat. Panic exploded. Your daughters are alive, Funmi said quickly. NICU stable, underweight but fighting. Daughters, Amara sobbed. Relief, terror, exhaustion colliding. Funmi sat. Your name? Amara Okonkwo. Family? Orphan, no one. The father? Dead car accident. Funmi's expression softened. How did you end up hemorrhaging outside my hospital at 3 a.m.? Amara told everything. Kioma Okafor. The accusation, the slap, the gold anklet ripped off. 6 months on the streets. Uncle Tunde's kindness. The blue blanket. Now stiff with dried blood on the chair. When she said Kioma Okafor, Funmi's face changed. The textile billionaire? You know her? Funmi stood abruptly. I treated her once, long ago. Her voice was tight. Rest, I'll check your babies. She didn't go to NICU first, she went to her office. Locked the door, Dr. Funmi's office. 11:05 a.m. Funmi kept certain files, the ones that haunted her professional conscience. The ethically questionable cases she'd witnessed as a young nurse. She pulled the folder marked Lagoon Private Clinic. 2003 closed. June 12, 2003. Patient Chioma Okafor. Secret delivery. Baby girl Funmi had been 23. New RN, terrified of doctors. She'd drawn the baby's blood for routine metabolic screening. O negative. She'd noted it because it was rare. Only 2% of Nigeria's population. Chioma had refused to hold the infant. Paid the midwife 500,000 naira cash. Whispered instructions Funmi overheard. My husband's family wants a son. Tell him she's stillborn. Take her to St. Teresa's orphanage. No documents, the baby had cried. Healthy lungs. Funmi had watched the midwife carry her out in a blue hospital blanket. The paperwork listed, stillborn female discarded per family request. Funmi filed it as ordered. She was young, scared, complicit. It haunted 22 years. Now she pulled Amara's intake chart from this morning. Blood type, O negative. Funmi's breath stopped. She walked back to recovery. Amara slept, exhausted. Funmi lifted the girl's left ankle gently. A scar. Faint but distinct. Band-shaped. Where metal had cut skin recently. The 2003 file noted, gold anklet placed with infant, engraved Okafor Estate. June 2003. Funmi sat down hard in the plastic chair. The math was inescapable. Chioma Okafor had abandoned her newborn daughter 22 years ago. That baby grew up in St. Teresa's orphanage, got hired as a maid by her own biological mother, was loved, then destroyed. Chioma had discarded Amara twice, once at birth, once at 22, and she had no idea. Funmi pressed her palms to her face. This secret could heal or annihilate both women. The doctor knows a truth that will shatter two lives. Taiku, day 3 post-surgery. Amara pressed her palms against the incubator plastic. Her daughters, each smaller than a mango, breathed through tubes thinner than her pinky finger. Name cards taped above their heads. Chiamaka, God is beautiful, 1.18 kilograms. Chidima, God is good, 1.31 kilograms. Chiamaka gained 40 grams overnight, Dr. Funmi said beside her. That's excellent progress. Amara's voice came out flat. How much does NICU cost daily? Don't. How much? Funmi sighed. 25,000 naira per baby. Per day. Amara did the math instantly. 50,000 daily. She had 34,000 total saved. Less than 1 day covered. I'll be in debt the rest of my life. It's handled, Funmi said firmly. Focus on healing. Why would you pay for me? You don't know me. Funmi's expression shifted. Guilt, determination, something older. Because someone should have helped you 22 years ago. And didn't. Before Amara could question that, an alarm shrieked. Chidima's oxygen saturation dropping. Nurses swarmed. Funmi joined them. Amara stepped back, powerless. Her daughter's life saved by strangers while she watched through plastic. 1 week later. Staff quarters, room 7. Dr. Funmi arranged everything. Small room in hospital staff housing. 1 bed, hot plate, shared bathroom down the hall. To Amara, who'd slept on zinc roofs and bus seats, it felt miraculous. Also a job. Part-time filing in medical records. 15,000 naira monthly. Flexible hours for NICU visits, why? Amara asked, folding donated clothes on the narrow bed. You could be fired for this. Funmi sat on the room's only chair. I made a mistake once, professionally. I followed orders I knew were wrong. Someone suffered because I stayed silent. What orders? A doctor told me to falsify a birth record. List a live baby as stillborn. I was young, scared, I obeyed. Amara's hands stilled. What happened to the baby? I don't know. But I'll regret my silence until I die. Funmi stood. Your daughters need 6 more weeks minimum in NICU. After that, we'll plan next steps. She left quickly. Amara stared at the closed door, wondering what secrets lived behind the doctor's eyes. Meanwhile, Okafor Estate, Victoria Island. Chioma's hands shook signing documents. Her lawyer, Mr. Adeyemi, sat across the study desk, grim-faced. Benson Industries lawsuit proceeds to court. They claim you embezzled 3.2 billion naira in investor funds. Every transaction is documented. Her voice sounded hollow even to herself. Their forensic accountant found irregularities. You need to produce clean records or face criminal charges. 30 years building an empire. Now accused of theft based on circumstantial evidence. The irony tasted like metal. She'd destroyed Amara the same way. Accusation without proof. Kioma hadn't slept properly in 3 weeks. Lost 9 kilograms. Her clothes hung loose. At 2:30 a.m. she walked the estate grounds in her nightgown. Past the garage. Amara's old room sat above it, door locked since the dismissal. Her phone buzzed. Unknown number. She almost ignored it. Answered anyway. Mrs. Okafor, a woman's voice, trembling, older. This is Mrs. Ngozi, the head housekeeper who'd vanished 2 weeks after Amara's firing. Kioma's pulse spiked. What do you want? Heavy breathing. Then I need to confess. I can't sleep. I can't eat. It's killing me. Confess what? Silence stretched so long Kioma thought the line died. Then I stole the brooch. I framed Amara. She never touched your safe. The ground disappeared beneath Kioma's feet. What did you say? The 300,000 naira in her locker. I planted it. The security footage just showed her cleaning, but I told you she was alone. I made you suspicious. Ngozi's voice broke. Your will named her for 5 million naira education fund. I have 4 children. School fees. I was jealous. I'm so sorry. Kioma dropped the phone. It hit the grass, Ngozi's voice still pleading from the speaker. Kioma bent over, hands on her knees, vomited into the hibiscus bushes. Once, twice, nothing left but bile. Amara was innocent. She'd saved legitimately. The footage proved nothing. Mrs. Ngozi had manipulated her jealousy and paranoia, and Kioma had destroyed a pregnant girl based on lies. The next morning. 9 a.m. Kioma sat in her study, composing herself. Called a private investigator. I need you to locate someone. Discreetly. Amara Okonkwo, 22 years old, former employee, Mr. Hassan, expensive, thorough. Took the job. Fee 500,000 naira. How quickly? 48 hours maximum. 2 days later. The report Mr. Hassan's file arrived via encrypted email. Subject Amara Okonkwo. Current location. General Hospital Yaba, Staff Quarters Room 7. Employment. Medical records filing part-time 15,000 per month. Medical history. Emergency C-section performed 8 weeks prior by Dr. Funmi Adebayo. Children. Twin girls, currently NICU, estimated discharge in 4 to 6 weeks. Status recovering. No family contact. No visitors except hospital staff. Kioma read it 5 times. Twin girls. Alive. Amara survived. Relief and guilt crashed together so violently she couldn't breathe. She had to apologize. Had to fix this, but something nagged her. Something from the dismissal day, the gold anklet. She'd ripped it off Amara's ankle. But the engraving! She hadn't looked closely. Kioma went to her safe. Pulled out the drawer where she'd thrown it. Okafor Estate. June 2003. Her hands started shaking. She'd hired Amara in June 2022. The anklet was dated June 2003, 19 years before Amara started working. Where had the girl gotten it? St. Teresa's Orphanage. Next morning, 10:30 a.m. Kioma arrived in a hired Toyota Camry, not her Bentley. Wore a simple Ankara wrapper and headscarf. Anonymity. Sister Mary, the orphanage director, mid-60s, kind face, greeted her in the cramped office. Welcome, my daughter. How can we serve you? I'm exploring charitable partnerships. Kioma lied smoothly. I'd like to understand your operations, particularly your intake records from the early 2000s. Sister Mary's face brightened. We desperately need donors. Our roof leaks. Medical supplies run low. I'll donate 2 million naira today, but I need transparency. May I review intake procedures? The nun's eyes widened. Of course. Bless you. She pulled a dust-covered ledger from a metal cabinet. We digitized from 2010 onward. Before that, only paper. She opened to June 2003. Kioma's eyes scanned the handwritten entries, then stopped. June 12, 2003, 11:17 p.m. Infant found at gate by night guard. Female, approximately 3 days old, healthy. Items left with child. Gold anklet engraved Okafor Estate, June 2003. Hospital bracelet. Lagoon Private Clinic, baby girl Okafor. Blue knit cap. Child named Amara, meaning grace. Surname assigned, Okonkwo. The room tilted. Chioma gripped the desk edge. Her vision tunneled. Sister, her voice barely functioned. What happened to this child? Sister Mary traced the entry with her finger. Let me check our long-term records. She pulled another binder. Flipped pages. Amara Okonkwo. Raised here until age 18. Lovely girl. Very respectful. She visits occasionally with donations. The nun smiled. Left in 2021 to work as a housemaid. Haven't seen her since last year. Do you know her? Chioma couldn't speak. The dates aligned. June 12, 2003. The secret birth. Lagoon Private Clinic. The baby she'd paid 500,000 naira to dispose of. The midwife swore the infant died during delivery, but she hadn't died. She'd been abandoned here. At this orphanage. With the Okafor anklet, that baby was Amara, the girl Chioma hired 20 years later, loved, called daughter, then destroyed. Ma'am? Sister Mary touched her arm. You look pale. Should I fetch water? Chioma stumbled backward. I need to go. She ran parking lot. 11:15 a.m. Chioma made it to the Camry before her legs gave out. She collapsed against the driver's door, slid down to the asphalt. A security guard approached. Madam, are you... Leave me, she screamed. He retreated. Chioma sat on the hot pavement in her expensive Ankara, and the truth detonated. She'd given birth in secret 22 years ago. Paid to dispose of the baby because her husband's family demanded a son. That baby lived, grew up orphaned. Became Amara. Chioma unknowingly hired her biological daughter as a maid, bonded with her. Told her, you're like the daughter I never had. Then accused her of theft, slapped her. Ripped off the anklet that proved her identity. Threw her into the streets pregnant. The twins in NICU were her granddaughters. She'd almost killed her entire bloodline. Chioma's mouth opened. A sound came out. Animal, guttural, inhuman. She screamed into her hand. Okafor estate. 3 p.m. Chioma sat on her bedroom floor. Evidence scattered around her like shrapnel. The hospital bracelet from her locked box. Mrs. Chioma Okafor. June 12, 2003. Lagoon Private Clinic. Photo of the orphanage ledger on her phone. Baby girl Okafor. June 12, 2003. Okafor anklet. Amara's employee file. Birth date unknown. Raised St. Teresa's orphanage, no living family. The PI report. Emergency C-section. Twin girls NICU. The gold anklet from her safe. Okafor estate. June 2003, she arranged them in a line. The evidence of her double abandonment. Then she broke. Not elegant crying. Ugly, convulsing sobs, snot and tears and ruined makeup. She grabbed the Christmas photo, her and Amara decorating the tree, both laughing, and pressed it to her chest. I killed you twice, she gasped. Once at birth. Once when you loved me. God forgive me. God forgive me. She cried for 40 minutes, her throat raw. Eyes swollen shut, hair wild. The billionaire. The empire builder, the woman who never showed weakness, destroyed completely. 5:30 p.m. decision. Chioma washed her face, stared at the wreckage in the mirror. 2 paths, stay silent. Let Amara live peacefully. Never reveal the DNA truth. Avoid shame or confess publicly. Face Lagos society. Beg for forgiveness she didn't deserve. She picked up her phone. Called her publicist, Ada. I need you to arrange something. The Lagos Women's Empowerment Gala. 2 weeks from Saturday was yes, ma'am. Your keynote is confirmed. Add a guest speaker. Amara Okonkwo. She's at General Hospital Yaba. A young mother who survived the injustice. I want her story heard. Silence. Then, madam, with your lawsuit pending, is this wise? Do it. She hung up, then called General Hospital. Asked for Dr. Funmi Adebayo. Dr. Funmi's office. 7 p.m. Chioma entered. The doctor stood behind her desk, arms crossed. Chioma looked 10 years older, skeletal, haunted, Mrs. Okafor. You already know. Chioma's voice broke. Don't you? About Amara, about me. Funmi's silence confirmed everything. I was there, Funmi said quietly. June 12, 2003, Lagoon Private Clinic. I was the attending nurse. 23 years old. I drew your baby's blood for testing. Oh, negative, rare. Only 2% of Nigeria's population. Chioma's knees buckled. She caught the chair. I watched the midwife carry your daughter out. You paid 500,000 naira. You never asked where she went. I filed the paperwork. Stillborn, I was young, scared of my supervisor. I obeyed. I didn't know she survived, Kioma whispered. The midwife said, You never checked. Funmi's voice cut like wire. You hired her 20 years later. Loved her. Destroyed her. And 6 weeks ago you saw her begging in the rain, pregnant, and you drove away. Kioma's face crumpled. I was afraid. I didn't know what... You say I was wrong. Funmi leaned forward. Does Amara know the DNA truth? No, only you. Good, because you don't get to drop that bomb for your redemption. She decides when, if, she learns. Not you. I want to help. The twins. He'll set up trust funds. You don't get access to those babies. Funmi's tone was steel. Not until Amara is strong enough to decide. You want to help? Set up anonymous trusts. Clear her from your blacklist. Fund a domestic workers' legal center. But you stay away. Kioma nodded, tears streaming. I'll do anything. One more thing. The Lagos Gala, 2 weeks from Saturday. I'm keynote speaker. I'll bring Amara as my guest. And you're going to confess, publicly, everything, the abandonment, the false accusation, all of it. Kioma's breath stopped. Publicly. My lawsuit, my reputation. You humiliated her in front of 18 staff members. You'll restore her dignity in front of 600 Lagos elites, or you'll never see her again. Public confession meant social annihilation, career suicide, permanent shame, but she'd already lost what mattered. Okay, Kioma whispered. I'll do it. Now leave. She's with the babies. She doesn't need to see you. Kioma stood shakily, paused at the door. Dr. Adebayo, thank you for saving them. When I didn't. Funmi said nothing. Kioma left. NICU. Same time. Amara held Chiamaka skin to skin. The baby. Now 1.9 kilograms. Made small sucking noises against her chest. Through the window, she watched the Lagos sunset. Orange and purple over the lagoon. She didn't know her biological mother had been in the building, didn't know the DNA truth waiting like a bomb, didn't know that in 14 days, her entire world would shatter and rebuild simultaneously. She just held her daughter close and hummed the lullaby Sister Mary taught her as a child. The mother who abandoned her will soon kneel before her, and the world will watch 2 weeks later. Eco Hotel, Victoria Island. The Lagos Women's Empowerment Gala filled the grand ballroom. 600 guests, politicians in Agbada, socialites dripping jewelry, businesswomen in designer Ankara. Media cameras lined the back wall. Theme banners read, Empowering Women, Ending Poverty. Dr. Funmi stood near the entrance with Amara. I shouldn't be here, Amara whispered. She wore a borrowed navy dress. Her C-section scar still ached. Look at these people. You belong here more than any of them. Funmi adjusted Amara's collar. Trust me. Why did you really bring me? You'll understand soon. Across the room, Mrs. Bukola Koka, oil magnate's wife, leaned toward her friend. Is that a housemaid? Why is Funmi Adebayo bringing charity cases to a 50,000 naira per plate gala? Her friend shrugged, sipping champagne, got backstage green room. 6:50 p.m. Chioma stood alone, staring at her reflection. 12 kilograms lost in 8 weeks. Her burgundy lace gown, custom Diola Sago, hung loose despite emergency alterations. Makeup couldn't hide the hollowness. Her publicist, Ada, burst in holding a tablet. Madam, your speech. I polished the final draft, but... Are you absolutely certain? Chioma took the tablet, deleted the entire prepared speech, opened a blank page, began typing with shaking hands. Madam! Ada's voice pitched upward. You go on in 10 minutes. The media, TVC channels, CNN Africa, they're all here. Your lawsuit is pending. One mistake. I'm done with scripts. You're committing career suicide. I died 6 weeks ago. Kioma set down the tablet. Is the guest speaker present? Amara Okonkwo? Yes, but I still don't understand why you added her. No credentials, no... You will. Now leave. Ada fled. Kioma closed her eyes, pressed her palm against her racing heart. This is the only way in main ballroom. 7 p.m. dessert plates cleared. The MC, Toke Makinwa, popular media personality, took the stage in a sequined gold gown. Ladies and gentlemen, our keynote speaker is a legend. 30 years building Okafor textiles, philanthropist, trailblazer. Give it up for Mrs. Chioma Okafor. Applause thundered. Camera flashes from 12 media outlets turned the room white. Chioma walked to the podium. Stage lights blazed hot. Her hands trembled so violently she gripped the wood to steady herself. 600 faces, all watching. She found Amara at table 47 near the kitchen exit. The girl's eyes went wide. Mouth opened. Recognition. Then horror. Amara half stood. Dr. Funmi's hand clamped her shoulder. Sit. Chioma adjusted the microphone. Feedback squealed. Silence settled like humidity. Thank you for that kind introduction, her voice echoed. But I don't deserve a single word of it. Confused murmurs. Senator Aduke Bello, front row, frowned. I was invited to speak about compassionate leadership, Chioma continued. About empowering vulnerable women. Lifting them from poverty, she paused. The silence stretched uncomfortably. But I can't. Because I am a fraud. Gasps rippled. Mrs. Coker's champagne glass paused mid-air. Ada stood in the wings, frantically slashing her hand across her throat. Cut, cut! The AV tech looked at the event coordinator. She shook her head. Let her speak. 30 years ago I built an empire, Chioma said. I employed hundreds of women. I claimed to champion the vulnerable. I won awards. Her voice hardened. But 22 years ago I gave birth to a daughter. In secret, at Lagoon Private Clinic. The room froze. My late husband's family demanded a son. When I delivered a girl, her voice cracked. They called her unsuitable. A disappointment. A curse. Someone dropped cutlery. It clattered on marble. I was weak, afraid, so I paid a midwife 500,000 naira to make the problem disappear. She told me the baby died during delivery. I never asked questions. I never held her. I signed papers listing her as stillborn. Senator Bello's hand flew to her mouth. I lived 22 years playing the victim. My husband and I couldn't conceive. We were denied the blessing of children. I attended fertility conferences, gave speeches on childlessness. Tears started down Chioma's face. She didn't wipe them. All lies. My daughter didn't die. She was dumped at St. Teresa's orphanage, with nothing but a hospital bracelet and a gold anklet engraved, Okafor Estate, June 2003. The room erupted in whispers. Phones emerged from purses. Amara stopped breathing. Dr. Funmi squeezed her hand so hard it hurt. She grew up an orphan, Chioma continued, voice breaking. And 3 years ago, by God's justice or cosmic irony, she applied for a housemaid position at my estate. Cameras zoomed in. A CNN reporter whispered urgently into her phone. I hired her. I didn't recognize her. How could I? I'd never seen her face. But I loved her immediately. She was kind, hard-working, smart. I called her the daughter I never had. Mrs. Coker whispered to her friend, This is insane. I promised her university tuition, a future. I told her she was family. Chioma's voice strengthened with self-loathing. Then 6 months ago, my head housekeeper stole a 50 million naira diamond brooch. She framed this girl, my employee, my biological daughter, for the theft. The whispers grew louder. The security footage showed nothing conclusive, just her cleaning my room. But I wanted to believe she was guilty. You know why? Silence. Because she was pregnant, and I was jealous. A woman in the third row gasped audibly. 30 years of infertility, treatments that failed. And this girl, this orphan I'd abandoned, carried twins so easily. It enraged me. Chioma stepped back from the podium, gripped its edge. So I accused her, publicly, in front of 18 staff members. I slapped her face. I ripped the gold anklet off her ankle, the same anklet that proved her identity. And it cut her skin. She bled. Senator Bello stood, then sat back down, unable to look away. Her fiancé had just died in a car accident. She had no family, no money. And I threw her into the streets, 8 weeks pregnant with twins. Chioma looked directly at Amara across the ballroom. 6 weeks ago, my driver and I were returning from a late meeting. Heavy rain. We stopped at a red light near Zenith Mall. Her voice dropped to barely above a whisper, but the microphone carried it. I saw her, heavily pregnant, soaking wet, begging, clutching a torn blue blanket, the birthday gift I'd given her, the one I threw at her feet the day I fired her. Amara's vision blurred. Our eyes met. She recognized me, and I told my driver, keep going. We drove through a pothole. The water splashed her. drenched her completely. Kioma's face twisted with anguish. She collapsed 3 weeks later outside General Hospital. Emergency C-section at 29 weeks. Her twin daughters weighed 1.18 kilograms and 1.31 kilograms. They spent 8 weeks in NICU fighting to survive. She stepped away from the podium. Walked down the stage stairs, the crowd parted. Her heels clicked on marble. The only sound in the massive room. She stopped in front of table 47, directly in front of Amara. "Stand up," Kioma said softly. "Please." Amara shook her head. Dr. Funmi whispered, "You have to." Slowly, Amara stood. Her legs barely held, 600 faces turned. 12 camera crews captured every angle. Kioma's voice echoed through the speakers. "This is Amara Okonkwo, my biological daughter. The girl I abandoned at 3 days old. The woman I destroyed at 22. Then Kioma knelt. The gasps were audible even over the sound system. A Lagos billionaire. In Deola Saguelase, kneeling on marble floor before a former housemaid, Mrs. Coker's champagne glass slipped from her hand. Shattered. No one moved. Kioma looked up at Amara. "I don't deserve your forgiveness. I don't expect it. I just need you to know, in front of these witnesses, these cameras, this city, that you were innocent. You are worthy, and I am the monster." Amara's whole body shook. "You're my mother?" "Biologically, but I've earned no right to claim you. You told me I reminded you of yourself, that I was like the daughter you never had, because you are. Everything I should have been and wasn't. You threw me away," Amara's voice broke. "Twice. Yes, you slapped me, called me a thief in front of everyone. Yes. You saw me suffering in the rain, pregnant, begging, and you drove away. Yes." Kioma's tears fell onto her expensive gown. All of it. Every cruelty. I did it all. The room was silent except for camera shutters. Someone was crying. A young woman at table 22. Amara wiped her face roughly. "Why are you doing this? Here, now? Because you deserve your dignity restored publicly. I destroyed you publicly. The world needs to see the truth." "And what is the truth?" Kioma's answer came out raw. "That I'm a coward who almost murdered her own bloodline." Amara looked at Dr. Funmi. The doctor nodded. "Your choice." Then Amara spoke. Her voice steadier than anyone expected. "You're right. You don't deserve forgiveness. Not today. Maybe not ever." Kioma nodded, still kneeling. "But I refuse to let your sins become my identity." Amara's voice rang clear. "I won't let what you did poison who I am, because I have 2 daughters who need a mother. The kind of mother I never had." She reached down, picked up her water glass, extended it to Kioma. "Stand up. You look pathetic." Kioma rose shakily, took the water. Their fingers touched. "I don't forgive you," Amara said, loud enough for the room to hear. "But I don't hate you either. Hate is heavy, and I'm exhausted." The room held collective breath. "If you truly want to help, set up the trust funds. Clear my name with every household you blacklisted. Fund shelters for women you people throw away. But stay away from me and my daughters until I decide otherwise." "If I ever decide, I understand. One more thing." Amara's voice turned to steel. "The blue blanket you threw at me. The insult." She reached into her borrowed purse, pulled out a folded square of fabric, faded, stained, torn. The blue blanket. She held it up. Cameras zoomed in. "This kept my babies warm when they weighed less than bags of sugar. This was their first mattress in NICU. This survived when you wanted us dead." Kioma covered her face with both hands. "I'm framing this," Amara said, "with a plaque. Proof that cruelty doesn't always win. My daughters will see it every day. They'll know their grandmother tried to destroy us. And we survived anyway." She dropped the blanket on the table. "That's my victory. Not yours." Amara turned. Walked toward the exit. Dr. Funmi followed. The ballroom erupted. Applause. Scattered at first, then building. Some people stood. Others gasped. Phones appeared everywhere. Senator Bello stood, clapping loudly. Then Mrs. Amina Lawal, CEO of First Bank. Then others, not everyone applauded. Some faces showed disgust. At Kioma, at the spectacle, at the discomfort. But Amara walked out with her head high. Kioma stood alone in the center of the room, cameras still recording. Her life destroyed by her own confession. Questions flew. Senator Bello demanded specifics. Kioma answered each one mechanically. 50 million naira trust. 200 million foundation. Resignation, restitution. The questions continued 10 more minutes. Finally, Toke regained control. The gala is concluded. Thank you for attending. People filed out in buzzing clusters. The story was already trending. Hashtag Chioma Confession. Hashtag Amara Okonkwo. Hashtag Lagos Gala. By morning, international outlets would pick it up. Parking lot. 8:50 p.m. Dr. Funmi walked Amara to her Honda. The night air smelled like rain and car exhaust. Are you okay? No. Amara's voice was hollow. She's my mother. The woman who destroyed me twice is my biological mother. Biology doesn't make family. I have her blood, her face, her DNA. What if I have her cruelty too? Funmi stopped, gripped both Amara's shoulders. Listen to me. She chose pride and fear. You chose survival and mercy. You are nothing like her, nothing. Amara nodded, unconvinced. The twins are waiting, she said quietly. That's all that matters now. They drove back to General Hospital. Lagos traffic hummed around them. Behind them, the videos uploaded. Twitter exploded. WhatsApp groups buzzed. News editors scrambled. By midnight, the story would circle the globe. The billionaire who knelt. The orphan who survived. The blue blanket that became a banner, she confessed publicly. But rebuilding trust takes more than words. 48 hours later, General Hospital, Conference Room B. Dr. Funmi mediated. Neutral territory. 2 chairs across a small table. The room smelled like disinfectant and old coffee. Chioma arrived first. No driver, no makeup. Plain cotton wrapper. 20 years older than her face. Amara entered slowly. C-section healing. Sat without speaking. Ground rules, Funmi said. Amara controls this conversation. Chioma answers questions only. Clear? Chioma nodded. Amara studied the woman across from her. Same nose, same hands. Same blood, she felt sick. Why didn't you hold me? After birth. Chioma's voice cracked. Chief's family was in the waiting room. When they heard girl, they called you a curse. I was terrified, postpartum. The midwife said you died. Showed fake papers. I paid 500,000 naira for burial. Never asked where. 22 years. Never checked. No, tears fell. I buried it. Built a company, pretended. Then hired me, loved me, destroyed me. Yes, Amara opened the folder Dr. Funmi prepared. DNA results. 99.97% match. This doesn't make you my mother. I know. Mothers protect. You destroyed. Twice. Chioma nodded, sobbing quietly. Chiamaka and Chidima are your biological granddaughters, but you don't meet them. Not for years. Maybe never. I understand. Amara pulled out a handwritten list. Her hands shook slightly. Here's how you help. 1 public apology. 3 newspapers. Punch, Guardian, Vanguard. Clearing my name with every household you blacklisted. State I was innocent. Chioma grabbed a pen. Tonight. I'll draft it tonight. 2. 50 million naira education trust for my daughters. Dr. Funmi manages it with 2 trustees I choose. You have no access? Agreed. My lawyer will file papers this week. 3. 200 million naira foundation. The Amara House. Legal aid, job training, counseling, medical care for wrongfully dismissed workers. Yes, all of it. 4. Policy proposal to Lagos State. Written contracts mandatory for live-in staff. Fair dismissal procedures. Third-party arbitration. Chioma's eyes widened. That'll face resistance. You have connections. Use them. I will. 5. Stay away from me. No visits, no gifts. No bonding attempts. If I want contact, I initiate through Dr. Funmi. Understood. 6. Therapy. Real therapy. 1 year minimum. Process why you did this. I'm not your redemption project. Already started. Twice weekly. Amara leaned forward, wincing. Last thing. The blue blanket. Chioma flinched. I'm framing most of it, keeping 1 piece for my daughters. When they're old enough, I'll tell them everything. They'll decide if they want to know you. That's fair. No. Amara's voice cut. It's mercy. Fair would be never. Silence. Amara stood slowly. I don't forgive you. But I'm releasing you from my daily thoughts. You don't get space in my head. More than I deserve, I know. She walked to the door, paused. Dr. Funmi says forgiveness frees yourself. Doesn't excuse the other person. She turned back. I forgive the 22-year-old you. That scared girl deserved support. I understand her. Hope flickered in Chioma's eyes. But the 58-year-old you had power, wealth, choices, and chose cruelty. That woman earns her own redemption. So I can't give it. Hope died. Goodbye, Mrs. Okafor. Amara left. Kioma sat alone. The terms on the table. Work to do that wouldn't earn forgiveness, but might prevent the next Amara. Outside, one moral moment, Dr. Funmi found Amara leaning against the wall. How do you feel? Empty, relieved, sad. Funmi handed her water. You showed mercy without compromising boundaries. That's wisdom. These touching stories about forgiveness never mention how exhausting it is. No, they don't. What's my lesson? Every life story needs one, Amara thought. Forgiveness isn't pretending it didn't happen. It's refusing to let it define your future. Funmi smiled. Perfect. 3 months later, the Amara house opened in Yaba, 12 bedrooms, 24-hour hotline, 3 lawyers. First month, 43 women sought help. Kioma attended the opening, stood in back, didn't speak, left before media arrived. The Domestic Workers Protection Act was submitted to Lagos State. Senator Aduki Bello championed it. Faced opposition. Kioma lobbied quietly. It passed second reading. Her fraud lawsuit settled. Cleared of charges but paid 1 billion naira anyway to Benson Industries. They donated it to worker advocacy. She sold the estate, moved to a small Ikoyi flat, attended therapy every Tuesday and Friday, never contacted Amara. Healing isn't linear, but survival is victory. 1 year later, Amara's tailoring studio, Yaba sunlight poured through storefront windows. 6 sewing machines hummed in rhythm. Amara moved between workstations, checking seams, nodding approval. Amara's designs employed 7 women, all formerly dismissed domestic workers, all trained at the Amara house. The shop smelled like fresh cotton and new beginnings. On the wall, the framed blue blanket. Plaque beneath it, what was meant to destroy me became my foundation. Below it, photos of Chiamaka and Chidima, 18 months old, round faces, bright smiles, thriving. Evening home, Yaba. The twins sat in high chairs, faces covered in mashed yam. Chiamaka giggled. Chidima banged her spoon. No throwing. Amara wiped sticky hands, laughing despite exhaustion. Uncle Tunda, the bus driver who'd saved her, visited weekly with groceries. Dr. Funmi came Sundays for lunch. Biology didn't make family. Choice did. Bedtime, Amara laid Chiamaka in the crib, covered her with a yellow blanket. New, bought with her first business profit. Your grandmother exists somewhere, she whispered. Someday you'll hear the whole story. You'll decide what it means. She kissed Chidima's forehead. But you'll always know. Your worth isn't given by who abandoned you. It's built by who you choose to become. She left the door cracked, stood on her small balcony. Lagos hummed below. Generators, music, life continuing. She touched the scar on her ankle where the anklet once cut. I was abandoned twice. Survived twice. That's not tragedy. That's testimony. Some wounds heal, she said quietly to the night. Some scars remain. But I'm still here. We're still here. This is one of many African stories where the discarded became unshakable. These real-life stories prove injustice doesn't always win. African folklore teaches that truth, however buried, eventually surfaces. If you've been wrongfully accused or silenced by power, comment your life stories below. These touching stories exist because survivors refuse to stay quiet. What would you do if the person who destroyed you was your own blood? Forgive? Set boundaries? Walk away? Share this story. Subscribe for more narratives where resilience defeats cruelty. Next week, a village girl uses 3 cowrie shells to expose a chief's corruption. The ending will shock you. Like, share, subscribe.